Alright, good morning. It's 7:25. We're 5 minutes away from market opening. So let's see what the market did overnight. Between London and Asia, we had a range. Let's see what did we do for the range. Okay, it was decent. 314 points. 314. It's about 157 points. Okay, 150, 150. That's 300. 14 divided by 2, 7. So about 158 points. So that's what we're gonna look for. 158 points. It's at about 24,990. 24,990. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I got my fib there set up. Okay. Now let's take a look at where London POC is at. We're 3 minutes away, so that's already plenty of time to show the POC for the London to show us delta as well. Let's take a look here. From 1 o'clock morning, right here. So let's go ahead and mark it out. Okay. Now let's take a look at some of the news. What do we have for Forex? If there's anything. Where's my Forex? Oh, there it is. Today is March the 10th. I don't know why it keeps going back. I just put today. There's really nothing major on the Forex. Everything is yellow. So we should expect probably a somewhat slow normal day. Now, where is the market right now? Let's take a look here. As far as what should we expect. Again, I am no expert. I'm just a guy trying to learn this based on what I've been studying for the last several months now. Now, this is New York value right here, these two white lines. Okay, the yellow line represents New York POC. This is the New York's 24 hours ago. Okay, their value. And then we have our two mids. Our two mids are once again, they are outside out of New York. So by definition, it's a repair. Okay, however, we have they're inside, prices inside both of them. So there's a good chance that it's probably going to rotate right now at the beginning when fire starts. So here we go. Now this is my 0. I'm gonna go ahead and put it right where price is at. Right there. Oh wow. It's going there. It's moving. It's moving. But it is expected, right? Price is moving up. It is already past the 12. Could it tag this over here and then come back down? Possibly. Where is our auction zero? It's down here. This is our auction zero right now. That's like our previous 24-hour auction zero. Eventually it's got to migrate and give us, this represents our, this right here represents the fair value price for the last session. It almost has the same feel to yesterday. Difference was that prior auction zero was up here. And our value was up here. Today it's below us. It's still going. No, it's still going. Gosh. There's 3 in a row right there. Okay, fourth candle's beginning to slow down. Got London right here, Asia here. The POCs are in between them. They're in the middle of them, actually. Price open north of them. I still think it's gonna rotate for a little while. And the repair has to be here. Now this is again New York's value here. We'll see. Auction zero hasn't migrated yet. So it's still hard to tell where to go at the moment. Okay, so it's rejecting off of the 12, so the question is, will it try to go up? You know, that's the question. Notice how it started, went up to nearly the 62. Okay, now it's coming back to the 12. There's 3 rejections here right now. for the 12. That kind of makes it a probability that it wants to go up for the time being. But if it comes back past the 0 and it reclaims the negative 12, then there's a good chance that it may come down. Maybe hit this here and do this. I'm not sure. 0 once again. Right now there's a fight here.
Knows that as the procurement coordinator to
Come on, give me an auction migration. I need a 0 migration. Again, the 0 right now is currently here. That's the migration. That's the pre-migration 0 from yesterday. It eventually needs to migrate and give us where the new fair value price has been determined. But as of right now, it has not migrated. We're still here between 0 and 12. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a migration somewhere around here right now, and then we get an entry level for a long. We hit somewhere around here, and then it turns around and eventually starts to migrate, repair towards New York value. But remember, the market's going to give you a different disguise every day, but it's going to do the same 3 behaviors every single day. And that's what I've learned so far, is that it's going to search for value. Okay. Then it's going to agree on that value, and then it's going to explore on that value. Asia high is here. Asia open is here. London opens here. London low is here. London high is here. Now, could it migrate somewhere up here and agree that the value moves up? Yeah, absolutely, it could. So the name of the game is to wait. Okay, so you see right here, now we're getting a post auction 0 migration, and it looks like it's gonna hold. We'll wait for one more candle or so. And that if this migration stays there, we'll see if Remitar gives me an entry of some sort. Sometimes it will give me a entry, sometimes it won't. And you have to be the one that um, decides to go with it. Now I'm seeing a short here for the strategy, but sometimes the strategy can be off, as we know. No such strategy is going to be perfect. You did exit right there, so entered, exit right here. Oh, now it's moving over here. Price is right here right now. Let's give me a short. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know. I may have gone in there prematurely, but we'll see. The thing that I'm kind of concerned is that I wanted a 12 reclaim and then go in. However, it did touch already the 12 earlier in the day, earlier in the morning. So where did I go in? I went in literally at the 25. So let's see if the only thing I am not liking right now is the fact that and again, it gives you a different disguise every day. If it's in a rotation, let me hit this right now and then come back up here and then come back down. So and if I put my stop loss here, it's gonna give me a good drawdown. Now, if I'm gonna target I will target right here because I believe that it's gonna go through the mids. You see, this is what I was talking about right now, that it looks like now it wants to go back up. Oh man. Well, I mean, the -2 for the fib, it is here. Right below New York value. So if it's gonna repair, if it's truly gonna repair, it's gonna come all the way here at the minimum. It's hard to say. If I want to take a partial, I don't know if I should target here. See, this is what I was saying earlier. Right now was that if it rotates and it doesn't go all the way over here, I mean we're good. We're golden right now. But if it comes all the way out here, ugh. So I don't know. Right now, when I went in, I'm like, I should have maybe just targeted here, right with the delta. But it didn't even go to the delta. Oh, now it's going up. What I should have waited is I should have waited for this thing. Being that I don't know, I felt like you again. I feel like it's in a rotational start. It's gonna come and rotate, tag this, and then come down. But I don't know. I'm gonna put this just above the 50. The zero is here. Prices right now like around the 12. Now, if it commits past the 25, that's a problem. Let's see if it just tags the 12 and then starts coming back down. Sorry about that. Hands are a little cold. Well, tag the 12. Kind of coming down below the zero. We still have a little bit of drawdown there. Okay, so it did tag the 12. If it tags the 12 one more time and then it rejects, then in all honesty, my entry should have been right here. This is where I should have entered for the short. Not initially when I got this signal here. Yeah. My only concern again is that see, yesterday we got a short entry, right? And a candle or two before it had tagged the 12. Here the entry was about almost 10 candles before, after it had already tagged here. Okay, come on. Let's see if it tags it and then it rejects. Come on. this. Okay, so market broke up, broke down, broke up so far. Sorry about that. So, where would my first take profit be? In all reality,
It used to take us days to finalize.
a small little take profit would be
Major agreement in seconds using DocuSign Intelligent Agreement Management powered by AI. Ready to exceed your goals? Meet your agreement partner.
it is kind of moving right now. Be about 70 points at the Asia mid. London low would be about 97 points, which is not bad. I think if it gets here, it's going to Once it crosses this, I think it's gonna push down a little stronger. Let's do it right at London. Right there for now. Max element. All right, let's see if we can get past that first POC line, that red line there. See if we can close below it. And if we close that second one, first of all, if we close the first one, that's a good sign. Okay, it wants to close below that that POC. Let's see the next one opens below it and closes below it. And right now we're close to the 50. There we go. Kind of a smaller body though, with a little bit of wick on the top. By the way, I'm using Heikin candles. I'm not using your regular candles. I think it helps a little bit better with the smoothing. And I am not using, as you can see, I'm not using red or green candles. It's all one color. I think it helps you stay neutral, to understand, I think, a little bit better. Sometimes when our brain sees red, we automatically think it's a short. If we see green, we automatically think it's a long, and vice versa. If we're in a long and we see red, our brain tends to panic a little bit. Okay, and vice versa. If we're in a short and we see green, we tend to panic. So a while back ago, I made the decision to focus on one single color and try to understand price action for what it truly is. So yeah, okay. So right now we closed below that first POC. Now comes the second one. Let's see if it goes through it, if it slides us through it, or if it's gonna do a little bit of a back and forth rotation. Okay, so as you can see, now price is going back up. Hopefully that POC holds. I'm gonna move my buy stop. I think we're good right here for now. Alright, so far it looks like that POC held.
Get a domain from Squarespace, not just a website.
See, this candle's body pushes a little bit below that second POC line. So those POC lines, one represents London, the other one represents Asia. And I think there's this one here may be London. Let me see here. Is it Asia? No, it's Asia. It's Asia because London is right here. Oh, I moved something. Whenever that happens, just hit the undo button. Alright, so we're pushing. We're pushing below it. Come on. Kind of giving us a little bit of a pullback. We're getting a candle pushing up. Hopefully it doesn't go past VWAP. It holds. Okay, looks like VWAP held so far. We're still not out of the woods yet, but yeah. Okay. Let's get past that Asia mid. See who that candle pushes or the next one. Come on. It wants to. But it's fighting it. Come on. Come on, just a little more. I'm even tempted to exit it myself out or bring it a little closer. It's like right there. You know, and sometimes price will tease you right before, you know. Come on, come on, come on. You're there, you're there. Let's. Come on, one more push. I'm telling you. uh, Might give us a little bit of a pullback here.
Working across teams.
Now I'm gonna put my stop here, guys, because this is currently right now where the last pullback happened, which is this right here. This, if it decides to come back for whatever reason. That's one of the hardest things, I think, learning to do a trailing stop sometimes, you know, and being active with it. You get caught up in the moment with the price and you kind of forget to do this, you know. One thing I don't like here is this little rejection here. This wicks are getting a little higher. That's the only thing I don't like there. Okay, we got 10 seconds before the next one comes up. I'm kind of debating getting out here. Yeah, that's the thing right now. So now if it starts moving up, will it will the POC hold? You know. Come on, let's hold. So now we're showing this, maybe it'll do this, and then come back down. And I'm telling you, we're just a hair, look at that. Just a hair off of it. Okay, now it looks like it wants to push up. Definitely going up. Okay, let's see if that POC holds. Come on. And I was ready to exit right now. I was ready to be done here, and I decided not to. And to me, it doesn't look like it wants to give up here. Looks like we may have another one. Oh, here we go. Come on. Oh, it's still fighting it. Come on. Okay. Let's see if we get the push that we've been waiting for. Come on. There we go. Okay, so it hit it. It hit it. Oof. Let's see. Price was at. Let me see. It hit 893. 893, and where did we enter? $990. So almost 100 points. 97 points to be exact. Now, if you recall what I said earlier, is that usually when we have the post migration, which is this here, this line here, let me show you here. This represents yesterday's the auction zero. This is where fair price was, okay? And so once it migrates, you have to look at, first of all, where did price open? Price open outside. of New York value. Now, for me, New York value are these two white lines right here. This is a value area high, value area low. This is the PO. This is POC here. By the way, this yellow line represents previous day mid, so there's a good chance that price is going to visit this today. Okay, is it guaranteed? No. Okay, but okay. So once price decides, once we have a post migration auctions, a new auction zero, I look at my fib here, and I'm like, what I try to do is I try to look for a commitment past the 12. But before I do that, usually price likes to reclaim. Now, yesterday it did not do that. Yesterday, after the second candle, it hit the 12. It just went started doing this, and then eventually it made the move. Okay. Um, I'm trying to think here. So here, I went in. I saw that we had the migration happen, and I went in on the, I think it was the fourth candle after the migration happened. Okay, I saw that there was a little bit right here. When you look at this here, it looks like, I mean, it was very close to the 12 here. So I was like, okay, that may be the reclaim. So let me go in. But I knew that by going in there here, there was a chance and a possibility that if it did reclaim later, that it would give me some drawdown, and I was going to have to just stick with it. Okay, and so sure enough, it did that. We saw that it reclaimed the 12, not once, not twice, but about 3 or 4 times here. Um, this one could have been the entry here, right around here. As soon as it retouched it here, that could have been the entry right there. Okay, and you would have gotten minimal drawdown on these times here. Ideally, once you see it, because this was the first reclaim, I think it was, to be honest with you. This one doesn't, technically it doesn't count because the migration hadn't happened yet. The post migration of the auction zero hadn't happened yet. Here it happened, so this was close, but it wasn't. This was the first one, and honestly, you can go in here, but they say that the second one is better. And although this is the second candle, they were back to back. I would have preferred, these two happen, and then one did not, and then the next one it would. So maybe I would have gone in here, to be honest with you. But anyways, I mean, there's no such thing as a perfect entry, but you need to just be aware of what the market is doing overall. I still think it's going to be in repair mode today. But again, where did price open? Price opened outside of the midst. However, it opened right here, and you can see we have it opened in between the mids as well. No, wait. So price opened outside of New York value. Excuse me, I said it wrong earlier. Outside of New York value, but it opened out inside the mids. So even though it's a repair, it looks to me like, let me get rid of this, by the way. It looks to me like this right here is telling us that it's going to do a little bit of a rotation at first. Okay. All right. So that means that price is going to look for value. It's going to search for value. It's going to agree on a value, and eventually it's going to explore. So when do I think it's gonna repair? Like coming down here to this section, it's when price decides to agree. Let's look at the levels here. I want you to notice one thing here. Okay, price hovered pretty good around Asia mid level. Okay, It went through here. Okay. It went around it. Went through here. So right now, when it did this here, okay, when it did this here and it did not go through, it created an inefficiency. Okay. That means that there's unfinished business here right now. So this is my take here. Once price decides to go past London low, once it comes back, if it does come back, there's no guarantee on that. Okay. Once it gets past London low and it closes with displacement, then I would say, because price was mainly around this level here, notice not the Asia low, not the Asia low, that's when I say, okay, it's gonna start heading towards your New York value. Now there's no guarantee on that. Right now, I decided to take the exit here. For one, it was a close to 100 points, which by all definition, that is um, a great trade. When I first started looking into trading, my goal was like 10 points. I mean, if I can get 10 points every single day, I mean, the reality is, if you can get 10 points every single day on one mini contract, I mean, you're gonna make your 200 bucks, right? Right now, I'm doing a micro because I'm trying to prepare myself psychologically for the drawdown and all that. And I know that when you start, the great thing about the micros, guys, is that micros and minis, yeah, there's a big difference, obviously, with the price, right? And with the numbers and how they move. But the thing about micros is that the amount is so much smaller that it allows you to go through the process of the auction without kicking your butt psychologically. And once you start to understand price action and start understanding auction theory, session logics, equilibriums, okay, imbalances and all that, and you start to go through it, in other words, being in a trade for more than a minute, and you start to understand, you start to see like the mids and all that. From what I understand is that once you go through it with micros, eventually it'll become the same thing with the minis. Okay, so again, this is just all educational purposes here. Take what you can to help you in your journey. The reason I started doing these journals is because it really does help. It really does help. Okay, you look back at everything, and you'll start to remember certain patterns, certain auctions, and go from there. Okay. All right. So right now I took my take profit here because I felt like this is the safest and furthest where it was gonna go. Initially, I thought maybe here too, but I think it's gonna go right at the edge of London low. London low is the safest edge because I saw that the delta was not there. We had the POC, we had our Asia mid, and I could have targeted somewhere in between, okay, and I would have been fine. As you can see right now, price is coming back over here into the auction zero. So I think it's going to do one of two things. I think it's either going to go past it, and once it goes past it and you see bodies closing above the 12, then it's going to continue away from repair. If it does continue away from repair, I would target London high. That's what I would target. Okay. The auction zero here right now gave me an 87. I'm sorry, my fib. My fib, we went to the 87. So ideally, Maybe the 87 over here would be good. So that tells me London high would be good. Um, so yeah. Now the other thing is, once it tags auction once again, it may just start coming back down. And once you see commitment past, say, BWAP, which is here, I think you're safe to go down here. But anyways, I am going to stop this recording. I'll make a second part of the video here, and within this video here, to show the final recap of the day, see what the market did. So yeah, hopefully you guys found some good content here that will help you in your own journeys. Alright, we'll talk to you guys later. See, there it is. We'll see what it does. There's a little bit of indecision here. It may come back down. Boop. Start moving down here. I mean, for all we know, it could be rotational all morning, because again, where price opened up. Alright, so this is the second part of the video for today, March 10th. I just want to go ahead and recap the day overall. This morning we started again. Price, where did it start? Let's talk a little bit about the mids, the value, and all that, right? So earlier today, when price opened up, and let's go ahead and move it here like this here. Alright, so everybody can see here. I said that New York value was down here. Okay, this is previous New York value right here. We have our POC here, and above that we had our two mids. We had our Asia, our London mid here, and interestingly, in between them, yeah, in the middle of it, we had our two POCs. Okay, now by definition, today was a repair because price opened outside of value. Okay, however, because price opened right here, okay, opened right here, inside the two mids, it looked like it was going to be a rotational first. Okay, and so what I did here is I waited for price to move. Once we had our auction migration, our zero auction, migrate from down here to here, okay, I went ahead and waited for some type of commitment. I put my zero once again right here at our auction zero, and once I saw price commit past the 12 and really kind of close to the 25, you can see here, I went in. Problem is that I knew it was a little early because there was no reclaim, so there was no pullback to the 12 here. Once it pulled back to the 12, this is more like the ideal entry here. Either way, you know, it started coming down. Eventually it went past the POC. It went past the second, well, it didn't go past the second POC, okay, which this particular one is Asia. And then eventually it came back up and then came down. There was a little bit of hesitation right here to the very end. I literally targeted the edge of London low. Okay, now the reason why I targeted that is because, you know, to me it felt like at this point market has one of two options here. It's either going to at that point start the repair, start heading towards the repair, which is here, or it's going to, and I said on the last video, on the last section of this video, that, and I left here, I believe I said either if price starts moving up, it's going to go to the auction zero here, which it did. And I said at that point you got one of two options: either it's going to start the repair down, or it's going to target the balance. And I said the balance is going to be, you see here, price moved down to the 87. I said think I said I would target the 87. Well, price ended up going just a little bit above 87, below the 1. And you can see that's where New York AM ended up going. Now let's talk about New York PM. Eventually, price did try to find some value over London high, and it went up so a certain much, not a whole lot, but eventually it started again coming down. Okay. Now what you'll see here is that like the stairway right here is kind of letting you know that value is going up. It's trying to find value up here, but in the end, price said there was more value down here. Unfinished business came straight down to the auction right here, the auction zero. And the interesting part is that it came down again towards the POC. You have London, and then of course Asia. Now what I will say about this is one thing I learned about today is that you can see London went up quite a bit and then went down and then it went up, right? There's two things two things here that you're looking at is that when you look at the POCs, this is Asia, this is London. Although for the majority of London session the price went south, you can see that it still developed a higher POC, London than Asia. And when that happens, that is letting you know more than likely is that although the move may look like it was going down for the most part, it still created higher value up longs. Okay, and so what that means is that somewhere down here, more than likely is that we have smart money building up here. So price probed up when it started, and then eventually it was going to probe down for liquidity down here, get that liquidity, and then it was going to take off. All right, like I said, we don't know. This is a game of probabilities. We understand that, and although it's a repair, it doesn't have to repair right away within this session or even the next. Okay, we just have to wait for it to reveal its hand and let us know. The other thing that I learned today is that if London closes above its own POC, there's a good chance, not saying it's guaranteed, there's a good chance that the real move, the main move of the day, is going to be on longs. But again, you have to look at the complete picture. When I look back here, I said, okay, there is this level here, these two levels. Price is letting us know, look right here, all these levels right here. It's letting us know that there is some type of smart money liquidity here. And that's the sense that I got, and that's why intuitively I targeted this here today. I've only been learning this for 4 months here, and I can't say that I know everything, but I'm learning a little bit more each day. Okay, once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this content. Okay, remember, this is for educational purposes. It's not financial advice in any shape or form. Okay, hopefully you all enjoy.